that champion.
Okay, and sorry, we're about to hop into Champ Select, so Solari, our answers will be answered. Well, our questions will be answered, pardon me. Hawk, take it away.
Thank you so much, RMC. Maybe we'll get answers for answers too, just for kicks, as that is a Jace immediately slammed down by Liberty after Crestiel had a great performance on it yesterday. But elsewhere in the picks and bans, a bunch of those facilitator type champions being removed from the jungle pool. Both AC and Scary, as highlighted, love to play around their lanes, those more facilitator oriented champions. But power picks like the Kai'Sa, Rel, Ivern still up on the board.
I think the most important bans here are the last ones from each team, because Poppy and Sejuani were the picks yesterday for both of these junglers that they saw relative success onto. Now they're both removed, so it really opens up a question. Are we going to see more facilitators like Vi and Maokai, for example, for both of these teams? Especially I'm looking at Kabum right now. Something like Vi would really work for them. They already have Rel, they already have Kai'Sa, so the beginning of the all-in combination is there for them, plus a very strong bot lane in general, so you want to be working around that right now in your drafts.
Interestingly, if Liberty ends up blocking in this Maokai as well, they'll be sacking one of their bottom lane picks. So giving potential for the Rel Kai'Sa not only to get that super strong meta 2v2 that we've been seeing across the world and here in CBLOL, but also potentially pinch out one of Juliera or Wass's pools. But Liberty, of course, prioritizing the facilitator jungler. We mentioned how AC likes to play those and picking up the Maokai, as you highlighted.
Now, another question is what's going to be happening on the mid lane, because both of these mid laners have actually been pretty solid, especially, again, I have to highlight the Kabum side, because they have two lanes that could potentially be working around. We talked about Lonely a lot, but I really think that mid lane is another place where they could try to look for those early game priorities and transition them later in the mid game. We already have Jace, who is, of course, a flex pick, can go wherever the hell he pleases. Top lane, mid lane, doesn't matter for him. But the mid lane for Kabum is going to mean quite a lot to me. I have a feeling that this is going to be, again, something of sort of a control mage, something with a lot of control against the enemy. They already have Maokai, they already have Rick Khan just picked for Liberty, so a lot of control on that side as well. You need to answer it with your own, or else you're just going to be soaked in all that CC from the enemy side.
You definitely don't want to let that Jace, Maokai, Rakan face roll all over you, especially when Kabum so far pretty short range, right? Kai'Sa, I mean, has the W to be able to poke with, but can't hit from too far away. That Ahri definitely going to add some playmaking potential, a lot of safety, a lot of maneuverability to try to get around in the fights. As we now are underway in our second round of picks and bans, there is these bot lane focus bans coming out. Xayah getting removed from that Xayah Rakan pairing. Other things up and available. Aphelios is Juliera's most played so far on the split. Could potentially get removed by Kabum.
We have the Rumble button. I'm
there you go, yeah.
feeling blessed right now. Yes, thank you very much, Liberty. We're not going to see him on the top lane, which raises the question, what's going to be the top lane for Kabum in the end? But I guess we'll need to wait and see. I'm loving the buttons from Kabum so far. Removing Xayah especially is super important for them, because when you have already so much all-in potential on your side, Xayah is pretty much the AD carry who's going to deny all of it for you. Plus removing Varus, so removing a little bit of the early game prior from the bot lane, even though I have to say I don't like Varus into Kai'Sa matchup. I think there are better AD carries who work into her. Aphelios, as you mentioned, can be one of those, or something that is more proactive in the early game. Maybe even something like Misfortune, for example, a wild guess here, but could work out for Liberty.
Hey, I'm here for like the crazy premonition pick, as that is a Nocturne being slammed down. Fun fact, last time these two teams met, it was Flawless that played the Nocturne and was not able to find purchase against Liberty. So Liberty has seen this one before, but it is going to be a different player piloting that champion. Other things up and available that Liberty could go for, we've talked about the AD carry pool that Aphelios potentially going to get locked in. The Rumble ban, to me, signals a potential Cassante pick for Liberty. It is Kiari's most played on the split with 4 games. He's looked tremendous on that champion when a lot of the CBLOL has not. So could also be an option. And I think the question that just really remains, Solari, is what do you go for if you are lonely? We've seen a couple of topside bans, Rumble, Renekton being some of them, but we want to see a carry out of this player.
We want to see a carry, but the draft is calling for the top lane, and I have a huge dissonance here, because Rel cannot be the only tank in the team. She cannot go in because she's going to die if she's solo there. You need something that's going to be able to follow up on her engage and create the space for the carries, like your Kai'Sa, like your Ahri and Nocturne, to make sure that they are not the ones soaking in the damage. You have to be the one. And if this Ignite is going to be locked in, it will make sense, but it is going to put Kabum on a timer every single time they want to approach the team fight. You need to be playing around the Mega Ignite form, because when he's small, he's extremely bullyable.
And I think not only the timer on the Mega Gnar as well, but they have to absolutely one-shot somebody. So much single target damage and pick potential out of Kabum with the likes of the Ahri, Kai'Sa, and Nocturne, whereas Liberty on the other side, lots and lots of safety. Maokai Gragas going to be trying to create space for Avenger and Juliera on the Jace and the Aphelios. But I've got a question for you, Solari, before we bring RMC back in. As Liberty, we talked about their identity when they've looked best, being playing around top and bot, playing around the strong side lanes. It seems to me that this draft isn't exactly built to do that, but I'm curious, identity-wise, how do you feel about this Liberty comp?
I like this Liberty comp more than I like Kabum's comp, simply because it is an easier one. It is a more defensive one. You don't need to commit too much into the enemies. You just need to wait for them to step up and ideally also to make a mistake. I would say, just in a nutshell, removing the name tags from everybody, I would vote for the Liberty's team composition here.
All right, well, let's see if RMC agrees. RMC, Solari likes Liberty's comp. How are you feeling?
I'm gonna be honest, that first pick threw me for a loop. I don't know why for a second I thought Crossdale was back on Liberty, like, because he used to be on Liberty a long time ago, and I was like, oh, Jace for Crossdale, wasn't that? I mostly agree with what you guys are saying. I do think Liberty's draft more standard, more meta, but here's the thing, right? Hear me out. Kabum, they're a team who literally in their name blow things up, and their comp this time is looking to blow something up. So, I like it for the org identity, and if they can execute it, hey, there's a chance that maybe they blow up the standings a little bit as well. And there's a world in which Kabum wins today, and yet Kabum and Liberty get eliminated. So let's see how much chaos the Rift brings us as we load onto Summoner's Rift. Hawk, Solari,
Thank you so much, my friend. As yes, we are here on to beautiful Summoner's Rift once again on a very fine Sunday afternoon this July. And I like how you raised the question if Liberty can execute, because they do most certainly have the Kabum potential, but it has been a big if as to whether or not Kabum can execute so far this split, but that does not mean they can't start now.
It's better late than never, right? And this could just be this very late for Kabum. They have a lot of win cards in their composition right now, and I love the audacity with which they approach their draft this time, especially this Nocturne in the jungle. It's not like we see carry junglers too often these days, but he can be absolutely massive coming into the bigger team fights, especially if Kabum will be trying actively to set up the objectives very proactively, especially the dragons, because you have to look at their bot lane, you have to look at that Kai'Sa. If you want to win in the mid to late game, you absolutely have to set that Kai'Sa going.
Graciel is going to face check just a little bit into Avenger. Should be just fine, as actually the flash is burned due to the presence of Was. So pretty nice early advantage already. Maybe AC could look to attack that lane. But again, I like how you mentioned that Kai'Sa lane, because Kai'Sa Rel definitely a lane with a lot of playmaking to it. And Raven is definitely the biggest carry on this team, at least as far as the draft is concerned. And he's a player that has struggled a bit this split, Solari.
A bit. I would say he's struggled quite a lot in some of his games, but it's not just for Kabum, it's also him, better late than never. They could have things going. The only thing is that Rel Kai'Sa want to have some attention from their jungler, and they have jungler who wants to power fund this level 6, because this is going to be a massive power spike for Nocturne. Again, a little bit of a dissonance here for the team, but maybe Scurry has a plan.
Well, we certainly hope so. It's currently pathing down towards the bottom side of the map. I think that's what we would expect. The Gragas Gnar lane probably not going to be a huge target for either of these two teams. It is going to be more about the solo lanes, more about the bottom lane, where you've got a bit more carry potential.
Just a bit, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong.
A small amount. Yeah.
No, listen. Let's set the facts straight, okay? Gragas can be a carry. He has a damn lot of damage, especially if he builds into something like. It's not really built that much these days, but Road of Ages, when it was, at its prime time, Gragas with Road of Ages, when it's fully stacked, can absolutely be the solo hyper carry for the team. And even these days, he possesses a lot of damage. But with that said, Aphelios is definitely going to be a much bigger playmaker for the team than their top laner.
Yeah, one would think that Aphelios is going to try to 200 years his way through his nice body slam right there by Kiara, the emote. Coming out, gonna lose out a little bit on that trade, but at the end of the day, no harm, no foul. And I do like how you mentioned how much damage Gragas can do, because I do think that's a relevant point, especially because in a draft with Maokai Rakan on your team, I think Kiari can get away with going towards something like that Route of Ages, like that Everfrost, a more AP-oriented build instead of the tank Gragas that we have been seeing crop up a bit more recently.
And I would love to see, to be honest, because Maokai should be able to absorb quite a lot of damage, and they have so much control that is going to stop the engage from the enemy, thus stopping the damage from the enemy, because majority of the carries on the side of Kabum, if they cannot get up close to the enemy, they cannot damage them, but AC wants to get up close to somebody.
Yeah, Crastiel, no flash, remember, but Avenger very low, doesn't have a lot of mana either, not willing to commit forward without the information as to where Scary is. I think Liberty has an inkling that he might be in the area, and he will appear. Charm lands onto AC, but that's a big old Maokai, even though he's only level 4, just able to walk it away. Trying to still get a reset for his mid laner, and it looks like Liberty, they're gonna finally be able to get a crash here.
We have Gragas just casually walking by, seeing if maybe there is going to be any further action, but no action needed. Everybody that we saw on the mid lane kind of lacks damage in the early levels, maybe except Jace, but Avenger, as you mentioned, was so low in health, and the mana costs for Jace during the laning phase are so high that you don't want to risk it.
We are seeing our custom map though, Scary on the bottom side, knowing that AC is top. It's a flash in from Redbird, traded by both Was and Juliera. Positive Summer Spell trade for Kabum means that they are feeling pretty good about that one. And Blood still in the water as well. AC not wanting to back because of how low he also has Crastiel. So it's gonna pull both junglers, both Sharks just circling this lane. But maybe we'll finally see our reset. No, they're really just testing it.
They're playing on the edge of the knife here.
Shows up, flash, twisted advance, and that's gonna be the first blood. Very well played. AC was taken so low, and Avenger doesn't have any mana to speak of. Has no flash, and Scary landing that Q should mean he can chase him down. Fear tether, auto attack one more time, and a nice kill answered. Avenger does have the TP to match with Crastiel, but first blood to the Jace does make it a slightly favorable play for Liberty.
He's going to come back to the lane and start stacking up the tier, which is going to be super beneficial for Jace to have it. He has no flash. He had to commit the flash in this whole exchange. Well, Ari is going to have flashback super soon, so you need to remember about this little mismatch on the mid lane, which opens up possibilities for Scary to try to go to the lane again, but he needs to make sure that Avenger is as low in health as possible when he does so, because he still lacks the damage. He still needs to try to power farm as much as possible, which is not ideal in his scenario because he has so many gankable lanes right now. We're talking about mid lane with no flash, which is Jace that you really want to punish, and we're talking about bot lane with no flash available for either of them as well. This is such juicy lane. You want to go there with Rel providing so much setup for you, but you can't because you're Nocturne.
It's definitely a target-rich environment, though, and anytime AC's on the top side, you've got to be really careful, because once this paranoia comes through, a Jace or an Aphelios without flash are not getting out of that gank, especially against the likes of Rel and Ari, as you highlighted. So it's going to be really tough, and AC needs to pick his timers carefully. See, coming back down, dropping the Gromp to make sure that he can just hover these lanes and not allow Scary to have any free time on the side. You see pretty heavy trading amid. Avenger, whoa!
No
Taking
way.
Crastiel very low. The minion auto is barely not enough, but Crastiel gonna have to take a base, and on the top side, its ulti's being traded. Liberty and Kabum, it's only been one kill traded each way so far, but lots of action in this early game despite that.
It's not just about the kills, it's about the action. It's about Ari barely getting away with 10 HP available on her. And it's about the preparation for the Drakes. Maokai is huge around Drakes, but he's also just level 5. He doesn't have his ultimate available, and Nature's Grasp is going to be massive in these exchanges around the pit. And that's why, do you want to commit right now as Liberty? Do you want to commit into anything either? If you're a Kabum, Kabum actually could commit into things, but they have their jungler on the other side of the map. Mid lane.
Oh, that's a no flash ace. Yeah, you are most certainly dead, my friend. Avenger gets taken down by Scary. That's going to help out Crastiel quite a bit, as Avenger has no TP to catch this wave.
And this is going to be the first Drake of the game. Finally started a Cloud Drake, not exactly the tastiest one to have in the beginning of the game, but it's a Drake regardless.
Hey,
there
it means
is
no
a
Cloud
for
Soul,
Kabum.
so, you know,
Yes.
that's pretty nice at least.
And it's still a Drake. We love all Drakes, okay? All dragons are good. Just some just a little bit better than others.
All dragons are friends. Some, you know,
Yes.
I'm with you. You know, some may be better than others, but we love all dragons, especially when it means you're still taking one step closer to that soul. And we talked about this, you know, with your disdain for Rumble. CBLOL, we love our second and third dragon fights so much, those 5v5s, and when you're able to get those early dragon stacking and force the other team to challenge you with those, I feel like it feels pretty good.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that trend in CBLOL, and I can't wait to see more of that. I can't wait to see the fights for the upcoming Drakes. I hope to see some fights maybe for the Elder Drake as well, but right now the fight is happening around the Herald, and Liberty are going to make the right move here to rotate the top lane, to take this Herald uncontested into their hands, and then release it. Where is going to be my question? I'm looking at mid lane, where Jace really would like to have some more gold, being 1-2 already. He's not in a good spot right now, but also bot lane. You have Aphelios, and you really need to push Aphelios to his 2-3 item power spike as soon as possible. So it will make so much sense for Liberty to go there and let the Herald go loose there.
Yeah, and I mean, to Liberty's credit, despite a couple of kills going down mid, I think the slow game does benefit them pretty well. It is Kabum that is playing the Kabum one-shot composition. Liberty, I feel like they do have a lot more safety on their side, so not allowing Kabum to find those angles and just look for the 5v5s sounds like a pretty good plan to me. And I agree with you. Use that Herald to get gold onto your carries, despite the kill that went down in mid. I think Liberty getting the better of the neutral objective trade in the sequence means that this game's still very even.
But now you have to keep your eyes on Scary, because Scary is going to be a huge talking point in this state of the game, especially with his Paranoia available and being a pretty low cooldown. He's going to be, Crastiel!
Redbird's first on the move. That's going to be a Paranoia going in. Avenger does not quite have the flash up and available. Just a couple more seconds, but just able to walk it out anyway with the phase rush and the Jace movement speed. So pretty huge play right there for Liberty to get out of the Nocturne ulti.
The moment I started talking about the importance of it for Team Kabum, it is not available for them anymore.
Oh,
but
no, but AC, you don't want to face check this. Redbird was still lurking in the bush, but the bot lane for Liberty is here, meaning another ulti forced out for very little gain for Kabum.
That is good for them. The only issue is that there is nothing really to rotate towards right now. There is no Dragon, no Herald, no big objectives on the map. It would be perfect to go into something on the map and do something with all that you've gotten. The only thing you can really do right now is get Aphelios some more money and maybe even use this time to release the Herald on the bot side of the map.
Well, AC is on that side, so I might not be a bad time, especially with Raven taking a base, but it's just going to be another slow game. I mean, Liberty has been perfectly content to not really do much at all in this early game. The only proactivity we've seen was around Crastiel's missing flash in that early game. AC mostly just playing to hover these lanes, make sure everything's okay. And despite a bit of a CS deficit in the top side, Avenger, the richest person in the game, as you can see in Liberty, they've got a minor but still gold advantage.
It's still something. It ain't much, but it's something, which is important for them right now. Oh, this is going to be the Herald on the mid lane in the end. They really want to crack it open as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, mid lane tower is now taken fairly low. That's 3 plates getting taken off. And Avenger, already the richest person in the game, has the Duskblade only mythic item out of all 10 players, now getting even more gold. So clearly, it seems that the plan is Avenger is going to be the mid-game bridge for this Liberty team, and Juliero will get to that 3-item spike when he gets there.
And when he gets there, this is going to be the point for Liberty where they need to transition to being super aggressive. Right now, they're in a very comfortable spot because this gold lead that you were talking about a little bit earlier, it is not much, but it's something that allows them to continue having this slow game and just playing around Kabum, getting away as much from them as possible so that they cannot really force a more proactive early to mid game from Liberty, or rather to force it onto them. Liberty are just playing around their scaling, are playing around their items, let the items come in, and when you finally have those, that's when you can turn on to Kabum. Just make sure you pass the point when Kabum is stronger than you, which is basically right now if they decide to group up.
Well, Slur, do you know what time it is here on Summoner's Rift?
Huh?
It's almost second dragon time. It's almost that big 13-minute team fight that we've come to expect from this region. And I mean, like you said, Kabum, they're feeling strong right now. They've already got one dragon. We'll see if Liberty wants to contest. Lots of control the way of Liberty and Kabum, rather. And they know it with Redbird walking into the jungle, forcing out those wards and not allowing AC to step up.
This is the moment when you need to keep your eyes on Maokai, because as Kabum, do you really want to be starting the dragon? Getting risked being locked down in that very pit with his ultimate. Ooh.
Well, you gotta be very careful though, because Redbird's just gonna full commit onto Juliera. Has the flash in the cleanse, was able to get a lot of distance, but not enough as Scary is chasing under the tower. Will be taking an exceptionally low. Maybe Liberty can re-engage this. Avenger flashing in on the Raven. That's gonna be a kill. Answered back, make it two, make it a third, as this Jace is massive. Solari, 3, 2, and 1. AC finds another, and Liberty win the fight.
It is Liberty who are absolutely massive right now. I didn't expect that to go so well for them. Scary going in onto Aphelios makes sense because you want to go for this kill. You want to commit it if you are already there with your paranoia. But going so much onto the turret, not estimating the mid lane to rotate so quickly from the side of Liberty is what was the death of Kabum, and it was indeed the fight for the second Drake, as you promised me, and the promise has been fulfilled, so thank you very much, CBLOL. You have been delivering so far. On the replay, I really want you to keep your eyes on Scary, because he's going on to Aphelios, who doesn't even have any item completed. He doesn't really deal so much damage, and you just want to get him away from the pit. You want to get the flash out of him. You don't necessarily even need to commit onto him fully, but he decides to go in. A very quick reaction from Avenger there from the mid lane, getting more gold into that chase, and as a result, a very nice Drake for Liberty.
Slurry, I'm glad we could deliver for you on your first game with your expectations and everything here in the CBLOL. We take pride in definitely delivering on excitement. And I want to give Juliera a lot of credit for how he played that as well. Staying alive, I think, for much longer than Kabum expected, buying the time for Liberty to come around and collapse. And now Liberty, having just won that fight, now 2 completed items on this Jace. They've got the Kraken Slayer on Juliera as well. They are starting up the Rift Herald. Paranoia is available in 3 seconds, and Kabum, they look like they want to contest. Redbird has been chunked, and Kabum coming in from 2 different angles. Teleport into the river from Lonely. Paranoia has been propped. Crastiel going forward, and AC going for the counter engage. Juliera is free firing though in the choke point, as we're gonna zoom. It's way out. Raven diving in, getting blown up. Kiari finding another. It's very split. Kabum, they tried to pull the trigger, but they are just getting picked apart. 4 quick kills over to Liberty.
Kabum are exploding, but definitely not the way they were expecting going into this game. This is so bad for them. But the beginning of the fight was good. The idea clearly was there for them to try to split up, making sure that Maokai is not going to hit them all with the ulti. But the problem with the Paranoia is that it doesn't really work against the enemies if they're so grouped up. And when they're taking the Herald, there is no way for them to split up unless they are deliberately going to make a mistake there and lose the Herald fight. This was a fight that Kabum were not supposed to take.
Most certainly is. Kiari is getting pretty low. That's a flash in, but Lonely goes mega. Flash follow with the wall up, and a little oopsie from Kiari does give something back over.
Lonely is still doing the Lonely things. I talked about Little not being very bullyable, but you don't play with the Mega now like that, especially around the walls, because you are going to be stomped against them. And you can see here, Scary is going in with the ultimate, but Makai's ultimate is going to have so much more value in this fight compared to the Paranoia. And after that, it is Kabum who are split around. It is Kabum who are not able to get either in or out. They're in a weird, very weird spot where they just don't even know what exactly to do. The only thing that's left for them is to die, one after the other.
No, we got the slow-mo shot of the belly bump coming through, and dare I say, another fight where Kabum just went too far forward. They weren't able to chase into the choke and just got mowed down by this Aphelios who, despite only being on a Kraken Slayer, does still do damage when he's completely untouched in the fight.
Yeah, that's the thing about Aphelios. You need to get to him and you need to slow him down and to cut him out of the fight as soon as possible. And Kabum have the means to do that, especially with Maokai and Ari. They have the means of getting onto him, but I don't think they're going to have any opening. They haven't managed to get an opening before, except that one kill false carry on the bot lane, and after that there is going to be wars around him all the time. And Verkan is exceptional at keeping his AD carries alive against the all-in engage.
Definitely is, and almost 18 minutes in, Liberty, they've got about a 3,000 gold lead, tied on Drakes, tied on turrets. We favor their scaling as well, so things are certainly feeling dire for Kabum. And at this point in the game, what do you want to see them do? They've still got this one-shot style of composition, but it feels like when Liberty's grouped up, they're incredibly difficult to dislodge.
They can continue trying to use Lonely to split them up, because look at Lonely. He is really good on the sidelines right now. He is pushing in a lot. And sooner or later, Liberty will need to address this problem, because he just took he took a whole turret on the top lane. He just took the outer turret on the bot lane as well. And Liberty constantly need to rotate somebody. Is it going to be a second? Yes, it is a second bonk of the Herald into the inner turret. This is massive from Lonely. Problem is, Lonely is the only one doing such major things on the map. Somebody needs to either step up or to play around him being so proactive on the side lanes.
Well, one of the best junglers in the game at playing around split pushing side lanes is Nocturne, right? The ability to counter engage on any sort of play that Liberty might want to go for. Maybe that could be a win condition, because Scary also has 3 kills to his name. So, okay, keep Lonely going on those side lanes. Keep Scary playing around it. But that means the rest of the team, they've got to be able to hold their own. Raven has the static shift for a wave clear. Maybe Kabum could use that to try to buy some time and make something happen. But of course, Dragon spawning in a few seconds. Liberty, they're almost certainly going to want to start that one up and continue to try to press their advantage.
It's the Hextech soul we have in this game. Honestly, my favorite soul to have. It just gives you so much, and the train around it is good. Yeah, it is. It is very nice to have, and Liberty are already there. They are taking the Drake. And do you see anybody from Kabum around? Because I'm not seeing anybody.
It seems like Kabum, this just opting to handshake this one away for maybe a little bit of damage on that top lane tier 2. A lot of control in the topside jungle. Maybe there's a world where you can catch someone face checking into this river. That might be another way that you can find that all-important one-shot onto somebody with this composition is on a bad face check. But Liberty, they just waited for the reset. Now AC able to walk in scot-free, so maybe not.
Yeah, not exactly. Liberty are feeling very comfortable right now. They are in this spot when they're just giving more gold to Aphelios. He's farming non-stop on the lanes everywhere he can go, where he is as safe as possible. Everybody else is just chilling on the map right now. They want to be playing around objectives. They just got an objective. Nobody was even fighting them there, which is, honestly, as much as I want to see Kabum trying to go for more dragons, as long as Maokai is around, if he's alive, if he has the ultimate as Kabum, you cannot go in and do anything. You need to get it out of him first or kill him first, and after that, do whatever you want.
Well, for the time being, Kabum's still just going to be forced to play reactive as Liberty. They are brute forcing down this mid lane tier 1. Really nice rotation from them to take down that last outer turret and continue to extend their control over Summoner's Rift.
Kaisa is having 2 items effectively. She just completed the Nature's Tooth a little while ago, so that gives Kabum something. That gives them Kaisa that can poke a lot, but it still doesn't feel like Kaisa who can commit into all-in. And if she's committing, she needs to go in with Scary and with Redbird every single time. How can Kabum do that with that little vision? They have quite some vision in the upper side of the jungle. There's quite a lot of red wards actually if you look at the minimap, but so many of them are completely defensive. They're going in quite deep into the jungle. I want to see more vision from Kabum, and I want them to be playing around it. They have so much peak potential. We both highlighted a lot throughout this game. I want them to use it to the fullest.
Hopefully we can continue to get you what you want. We got you the second dragon fight, right? Hopefully,
yes.
Come on, Kabum, do it for Solari. Give her the pick that you so desperately need. Don't just roll over and die in this one. You know, they tried to group around the mid tower right there. Got a little bit of damage onto it, but not really much else. I mean, Kabum, I think it's safe to say they're not really sure how to find a way in right now. They're struggling to solve the equation just as much as us.
I mean, yeah, it's not an easy equation, to be fair. You don't really know how to approach Liberty right now, and if you don't do it now, you're just giving them more time to scale. You already facing Achilles with 2 items, and he hasn't even done much, but he already is sitting on 6 assists. Oh, lonely there in the bot lane. He's doing something.
This 1v2 though is Juliera of all people showing up a really nice explosive cast from Chiari, but he's just gonna die. So Lonely at least trades it out 1 for 1, but that's a shutdown over to Juliera.
This is the Lonely that I really want to see Kabum playing around, because look at how much he's doing. His pressure on the bot lane is non-stop. He's always there, and Liberty always must rotate somebody there to stop him. They had to send 2 people there, and Lonely still got a kill out of that. Why are Kabum just letting him stay very lonely, living up to his name? Okay, but I don't see any other reason for him to be alone all the time and for him to do nothing out of it.
Oh, it's just so hard, and now Liberty, they're clearing out all these red wards. We've got the dragon spawning in minute 30. That might be somewhere that we see a fight. And just before we get there, I do want to take a moment to talk about some of the itemization that's come through. Juliera having the Mythic online, but I'm mostly looking at Lonely has the hull breaker, so really committing to playing towards those side lanes as you wanted to see. And also on the other side, Imperial Mandate for Chiari. I have never seen this before. Quite interesting, but okay, here's that pick that maybe you wanted to see. Avenger immediately going to be able to forced to flash away from Scary, but Crastiel rather. Wolf can flash in and follow Spirit Rush and is able to pick that one up. Scary, that's a big shutdown. That is the strongest member of Liberty removed. Maybe that's what they need to try to find something, but no, they're just all gonna recall.
They're just recalling out of that. That's such a good pickup. That's finally them doing what they need and want to be doing. And they're just leaving Lonely there in the top lane when everybody from Liberty is already on this side of the map because they were going and trying to react, but they're not doing anything. At least they're rotating to the bot lane. So maybe that's something. Maybe the idea is to go in and prepare the train for the dragon as much as possible. But Avenger is going to be up and running by the time the dragon is going to be available. He has the teleport, so effectively it's going to be a kill for nothing except for some gold.
Oh, we'll see if they can make something happen in this fight anyway. Scary already has the Paranoia back up and available. Very short cooldown with all of the ability haste that he does have. So there is still playmaking potential. The big one is not having the Spirit Rush, as well as no flashes on either top laner or mid laner. So maybe if you can find that Paranoia onto Avenger, one-shot him off the map one more time without the defensive summoner, it could be good. But Liver first onto the dragon. Scary's going to take the Hex Gate behind and look for a flank. Paranoia has been popped, and here goes Kabum. Redbird just getting demolished on the way in. That's not what you wanted. It's a 4v5, but Crastiel gonna try to do the AoE. They found 2 so far, but Liberty's got 3. Avenger running forward with AC. Flash comes out, and Raven running for the hills. That is a flash away, and ultimately Liberty, they win the fight. They get the dragon. It may be messy, but it's everything they want.
Messy Dragons is something we really love, and Liberty are definitely happy sitting on the soul point right now for a very good soul. Plus, they have the potential of having 3 Hexing Dragons on top of each other. That's a lot of additional ability haste and attack speed, but here, I wanted to be looking at Scary because he's going all the way to the flank. He has no vision in the pit, so he cannot really contest the Drake, and the fight is not about the Drake the moment he goes into the Hex Kit. The fight is about winning the fight itself, trying to get onto the carries, onto the backline of the enemy. He manages to get onto Aphelios and to kill him, but the problem is, at this point in time, Liberty have effectively 2 carries. They have the AD carry and their mid laner, and you need to get rid of both of them if you want to win the fight, and you can do it. They have no damage.
Ooh, we're not done just yet, though. That's a stopwatch from Crastiel to get out the explosive cast, but it's not gonna matter as the Nature's Grasp already found Raven. It's gonna find Crastiel as well. He burns down to the red buff of Chiari. Both the carries removed for Kabum, and it looks like they are the ones getting blown off of Summoner's Rift as the Baron now in Liberty's sights, and there's not a damn thing that they can do about it.
There is not a single ward around this Baron. There is nothing Kabum can do right now other than just recall to maybe get this turret on the mid lane as Lone is trying to do right now, and then hope for the best, because this is 14-8 right now, and this is a very good Baron for Liberty. They're going to keep pushing in. Liberty has actually, not Liberty, sorry, Lonely has made their work a little bit harder by removing absolutely all of the outer turrets on this side, but they can still push in and they can split push really nicely.
Liberty already having a 4,000 gold lead before they've been even able to knock down any of the towers with this Baron. If they're able to get a good Baron power play, this gold lead going to start to balloon out of hand very, very quickly. 3 items, by the way, on each of the carries for them. That was the moment that we said that Liberty would really come online. I think they've been online well before that, to be honest with you. So bad just going to worse.
They're, I don't know, double online? How can you go any further than that?
Super online.
Yeah, like super duper online or something like that, definitely. And they have such a good composition right now with their
Wi-Fi
items.
to Ethernet kind of online, you know?
Yes, exactly that. But they have such a good composition with their new items right now. With the Bloodthirsty on Aphelios, he's going to feel much safer staying on his backline. This gives more room to recount, to do whatever. What?
Hey, here you go. That might be the pick, though. Paranoia coming out. Avenger, no flash still. But Scary couldn't find the kill, and now he's left to the Wolves. That feels bad, as it feels like that was the only thing that Kabum could do, but they're just gonna lose their mid-jungle for it anyway. Liberty getting even more kills.
No way. Oh no,
and now
Lonely.
Lonely, he's face checked in, has the flash, didn't get out of the explosive cast, didn't get out of the Gand entrance, didn't get out of the belly bump or the twisted advance. AC might have gone too far forward, as that's a big shutdown going the way of Raven, and Lonely ends up surviving anyway. Maybe he didn't need that flash after all. Used it at the end, but this is a nice pick going over. Still fighting. Avenger going in. You're very low, my friend. That's going to be another kill going over to Raven. Now Wasp in their sights. Liberty, what's going on here? They're getting chased down. They give over a few free kills. And now Kiari going to die as well. That's 4 to Kabum.
That's what happens when you overstay your welcome. They shouldn't have stayed on the top lane for so long, but they had the greed in their eyes. They saw the turret, they saw the health bars of Kabum, and they're like, hey, we can go and get a little bit more gold out of it. We can push a little bit further. Well, guess what? You're walking way too far into the enemy's territory. And absolutely kudos to Lonely here for not dying at this absolutely crucial moment, for his team for being there with all the control, especially coming in from Rel. And this was the moment when they managed to turn everything around. With the help of Liberty, why did they stay here is going to be a very big and very open question.
This Q-in from Avenger is definitely a little questionable for me. I've got to be honest. Like, Kiari and Waz, they were already, you know, maybe able to get out, but Avenger's like, don't worry, guys, I got this. And I think he might have baited the entire team right there.
Yeah, that was not the best shot call in the history of the shot calls. But this is the moment for Liberty to try to play it back, because 12 seconds and the Drake is going to be up. This is going to be their soul. They have... Oh my god, they're going in.
That's going to be a flash in immediately. Here's that soul fight that you so wanted. AC is getting burned down, not very tanky with that Everfrost. And Lonely in the mix with the Meganar, able to get 2 into the wall. Was is down, and so far it's a 2-for-1. Crassiel forced to run as health bars still favor Liberty despite the numbers disadvantage. And now, with the Shock Blast going wide, all of Kabum will be able to get away. But Solari, as you highlighted, this is the Dragon Soul fight. Kabum, you cannot back away here. You've got to do something. But no, they're just gonna leave anyway, and Liberty's gonna get the Hextech Soul.
No, my man. Have you seen their health bar? They cannot go anywhere with these health bars. They had to disengage. They had absolutely no choice. Maybe it was just 1 kill in the end for Liberty, but it was them reducing the health of Kabum solo when they couldn't go in and contest the Drake anymore. And right now, Kabum are in a spot where their only hope is going to be the L of the Drake if they somehow manage to survive for 5.5 more minutes, and if they somehow get into the pit and kill this dragon. And looking historically at this game, it's not like they have been successful with the majority of the Drakes.
Redbird is on a solo support mission, probably with the destination being the Death Realm, as my friend, you are very caught. That's going to be the stun and the kill, but hang on, that might be a pick on the other side of the map as well, as Kiari gonna get taken out. So it ends up being a 1-for-1, and Juliera died in the river as well.
What? Excuse me? I have
Being a Liberty stomp to maybe a certified CBLOL banger to start the day. I don't know. We're getting into that kind of territory.
We're getting into the territory for roller coaster, just like the last game yesterday, and I am living for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for Lonely, still doing his shenanigans on the bot lane. Okay, we have the replay of how exactly he died.
looks like just a Nocturne ult in the face as Juliera did actually almost turn it around, but the fear came up just in time.
It was 1-2. It wasn't even a duel. It wasn't very. If it was a duel, he would win it. We all saw the help out Scary going so very low, but yeah, exactly.
Very rude of Raven to kill her instinct. That's very upsetting.
By the way, Raven, can we talk about his build for a second? He is sitting with a hat, with a very nice hat as his 4th item. This is so much poke from that Kai'Sa, as long as she lands her W's, of course.
Yeah, I know Raven didn't exactly have the best performance on the Kai'Sa yesterday, so I think playing a little bit better this game, 6, 3, and 4, definitely doing some good damage. And I am curious to hear your thoughts as Baron is on the map. Both teams are posturing around it. You know, there's been a lot of discussion over Ginsu's versus Luden's on the Kai'Sa. Which one do you think is better overall, and do you like the Ginsu's here?
I like Ginsu. It's, in general, one of my favorite items in the game, to be honest. It doesn't work for everybody, but I think it gives a lot to Kai'Sa because she wants everything, a little bit of everything. The additional attack speed, the additional AP coming from it with the scaling, which is quite nice for her. So I think I like the Ginsu on Kai'Sa, especially in this type of the build where she wants to be staying as far as possible, poking out until there is the very last moment where she wants to jump in on the kill instinct.
I'm glad to hear then that Raven not losing to Boris this game. Definitely building very correctly. And I'm inclined to agree. I feel like against this kind of frontline, Ginsu's definitely going to be a good item. But Kabum losing out on the Meganar means that they're forced out of the river. In Liberty, they do have control over this. Gold is actually dead even at this point in the game. The problem is really that Hex Tech Soul giving Liberty a lot of additional combat power. Now, Crastiel has a bit of a god flank, and Lonely close to Mega in the river. This could be a big collapse. Liberty, they have imperfect information. They don't know where everyone is. Here comes the paranoia and the engage from Redbird. That's a lot of AoE in the middle of everybody, and Raven has taken out Juliera. That's the first kill of the fight, and now Avenger soon to drop. Kaboom! They're the ones winning it. That's a triple kill for the Kai'Sa, make it a quadra kill as Raven, can you find the Penta? Kaboom! They're chasing for it. The Greyseeker comes in, and that's a Penta kill for Raven. Are you kidding me? He was doubted, but he shows up huge for Kaboom. 34 minutes into the game.
No way, they actually did go Kaboom! Can you believe that? Remembering the early game for them, they lost so much on the map. They lost all the dragons, they lost all the hope at some point.
They're gonna
but
win!
No, with a Penta for their AD